Hey, what's going on, Steamed Up Virgin Gang? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I've noticed a lot of things today just looking on the Pokemon community and logging into the usuals, the Instagram, the X, all the other places, people, the YouTube. Just a lot of people are kind of mad revolving around Surging Sparks and future products that are coming out. Surging Sparks in particular, I've noticed there's a lot of people that are kind of mad. Number one, I guess like orders for stuff kind of start coming in for some people. I know people who have distro access and stuff like that, they already had their stuff. But people have noticed that they're not getting as much of it as they thought they were. At least some people. I guess other people got exactly what they wanted, but I have noticed some people just did not get what they wanted, and that's going to be a big thing for like the investor side of the house and some collectors, sure. But I've noticed mostly investors are kind of mad about that over the last like 2-3 days. They've been talking about how they're very worried about how product distribution is going to come out, and if they're going to be able to fucking get the product they wanted in order to do specific things they wanted for their channel, or for their business, or for their investing, all kinds of stuff. And then Surging Sparks, on the other hand, I've noticed that people that are actually opening it, because mind you, I haven't opened any of it yet. I'm not going to open it until probably like next week or something. Apparently the pull rate for it is just kind of atrocious. Apparently pulling decent cards from it is kind of hard to do. I've seen plenty of people posting good cards, and I noticed a lot of people pulling specific cards for pre-release, but I'm guessing like that's not necessarily the case for the product now that it's out. I haven't opened any, like I said, I don't know. Someone will let me know. Is that true? Is it really difficult to actually pull cards from Surging Sparks? Is it a difficult set to pull from? What do you guys think the pull rate looks like? I don't fucking know. I'll get a taste for myself next week, but I've noticed a lot of people saying that's very difficult, which I imagine could trickle into some of the players who are going to have a hard time pulling specific cards they want to play. They're going to have to pay certain prices. And for the cards that are extremely playable, I imagine some of those are going to be pricier because now fucking everybody knows, like the people that sell cards, they track that stuff now. They know 100% what cards are playable, and they're going to charge a fucking arm and a leg for it. And remember Ogerpon, the Teal Mask one specifically, no one really liked that card, but because it was playable, that sucker was being charged a boatload for because it actually slid into decks and helped out quite a few things with that. But yeah, people are just mad. People are just extremely mad about Pokemon cards right now for a bunch of different reasons. People are really stressed out about Prismatic Evolutions. People are stressed out about pre-orders for fucking Terrestrial Festival. There's people questioning whether their pre-orders for other things are going to come through, whether they pre-ordered too little, whether they pre-ordered too much, whether they're fucking dumping money into sets they don't care about, whether they're going to do with selling cards. It's the holiday season. Is there going to be Black Friday deals for stuff? Like, you name it, there's people that are mad at this time. And I do get it. It is a stressful time. I understand that people, they definitely have things going on with the holidays. They have things that, it's for me though, just me, I'm not really too mad about anything right now. I did put in a couple pre-orders for a couple things, nothing egregious, nothing that was like outrageous. Stuff to open up for the channel, stuff to actually get some stuff. I've actually been picking up little products here and there. And me personally, if you're like a collector that doesn't really care too much about the hot new items or the hot trendy things or being on time with specific things, you're not making like content revolving around being like one of the first people to open up stuff or pulling the best hits, it's actually a pretty good time to hop into Pokemon and just kind of explore what's around. So, for example, there is a ton of cards right now in Scarlet and Violet. I know there's going to be people that are like, oh, sure, whatever, bro. There is a ton of fucking cards right now nobody cares about. There is a ton of art rares. There is a ton of SARs. There is a ton of SIRs. There is a ton of gold cards. There is a ton of cards that literally nobody cares about right now. And you can pick a bunch of them up for relatively cheap. You can fill out a nice binder full of some stuff. Hell, even some ones that are like kind of expensive are just kind of hanging out. There's cards that people have not even touched, haven't even looked at, haven't even put a fucking eye on. And it's funny too, because like the Crystal Hat thing, it's hilarious to me that like everybody just hated that stuff. And it's why I don't take anybody's opinions about fucking Pokemon cards like the first year and a half when a generation comes out very seriously. Because it's always the same shit. They trash the gimmick, they absolutely destroy it, say it's no good, it'd be better if it didn't exist. And of course there are some people that embody that. I've seen plenty of people in the comment section like, yeah, I fucking hate the Crystal Hats, I hate the terrestrial shit, I wish they just never did, I wish it never came out. And there are people that hold that, and there's people even with the cards coming out. But you have noticed there is a large shift, and I've noticed people calling it out on Instagram and stuff too, that people noticed that motherfuckers were outright just slamming and shaming these cards, just fucking bashing them into the ground, and now that Pikachu's worth a good chunk of money, literally nobody cares. Literally not a fucking soul cares that it has a crystal hat on its head. Doesn't come up. People just open their videos like, alright guys, we're opening Surging Sparks, well, we're looking for the Pikachu, and they don't even bring that shit up. Meanwhile, previous videos, same channel, talking about how much they hated that gimmick, how ugly the cards looked, why the 151 version Charizard was better than the other two because it didn't have crystal hats on it. And there's just a lot of people now that are just going to flip-flop. You're going to see people actually start flocking to those other two Charizards and fucking start sinking into. They're going to be like, you know what? They're actually pretty. No, they're not even going to say that. They're going to be like, I always liked these cards. These cards were amazing when they came out. I don't know. I was one of the people that defended them. Meanwhile, they were like fucking just saying Obsidian Flames is a trash set, saying that fucking Paldean Fates is printed too much. These Charizards are going to be weird to hold, blah, blah, blah. You know all the excuses. But there is a lot of cards right now that nobody's looking at. Not even from just this generation. There's like some cards if you go a little bit further back, and if you're looking at like different language, dude, there is a ton of cards not a soul is paying attention to. And if you're actually looking to just collect stuff, just to have fun, fill a binder, hell, even if you want to grade some things, you want to get some off-the-wall cards that people aren't paying attention to right now, there is a ton of opportunities if you just put your feet in the ground and just kind of look around and just look at different cards. And hell, maybe you'll find some cards that you didn't really like before that you kind of like now. Look, it's not the same thing with the Crystal Hat shit. If you didn't like a specific card, you're looking at some stuff, you pick it up for an alright deal, and you're like looking at it and you're appreciating it. That's a little bit different than people just straight up being bought by a price tag card for like 400, 500 bucks, or for a fucking auction for it being $3,000 on there. That's still so goofy. I'm gonna talk about that whenever that shit ends, and we'll do a fucking market by market recap shit. We'll make a whole thing out of it. But yeah, there's tons of cards. There's tons of specific things. Like I said, year one, there is a ton of Scarlet and Violet year one cards outside of Iono and Magikarp and a couple that are absolutely just dirt fucking cheap that nobody cares about. And if you just look around, you pick up some stuff, and it's not going to be a bad idea to actually start doing that if you want to, fill up your binder, fill out your stuff. There's some crazy cards that are up right now. Obviously, like if you can pull said card, that's great. The cool thing about a lot of the expensive cards is people lose interest in shit when newer sets come out. Yes, some cards are just going to hold some value, but like staying tippity top, that's not always going to be the case. And remember, Iono is a great example of that in Japanese. That bitch was fucking $1,800, and I picked her up for less than $200 about a month ago. That was just me waiting and biding my time and picking up other cards while I was waiting for the fucking market to cool down. It's going to do the same thing with a lot of the English alternate arts. People are like, there's no reason they'll ever go down. People said the exact same thing about the Japanese market. People said the exact same thing about Champion's Path and a bunch of those other cards. People said a bunch of shit. There is going to be some down on some of these cards. Are they going to be fucking dirt cheap again? No, probably not. They're probably going to still have some value. But they will go down at some point from their absolute high. There will be chances for you to scoop up some stuff. And there will definitely be chances for people to snag deals on cards, pick up some auctions, or just like, if you just look around, if you look kind of away just from all the Surging Sparks and fucking Prismatic Evolution stuff, there's just so many deals right now. There's so many cards lately. I've picked up so many cards lately and spent a fraction of the money that I would have if I just like went balls the wall on Surging Sparks, or fucking just did a ton of shit for Prismatic or anything like that, or just picking up the really expensive chase cards that are really hype and popular at this second, or, blowing money on TCG Pocket for fake digital cards instead of actually taking that money and putting it towards real cards. Like, you can actually get some of those too. Like, there's nothing wrong if you like TCG Pocket. That's all I'm gonna say. I've just noticed a lot of people spending a lot of money on it too. They didn't make fucking $12 million out of fucking nowhere, okay? That money came from somewhere. And that's from people opening up 100 packs a day. Do you. If you like it, cool, whatever. That's fine. I'll stick to my 2 free packs a day and I'll have fun with that. Just year one, some Sword and Shield, some Sun and Moon, some other language stuff. Hell, even some vintage cards right now are really fucking cheap if you're looking around compared to what they were, and some really nice ones. I've been picking up cards left and right, and it's really not that bad of a time for collectors, like an average casual, I'm not trying to fucking make this place a business collector. You can take advantage of a lot of good deals right now. You can take advantage of a lot of good singles, and you can find some fucking slabs selling for like dirt cheap. If you're a slab person, you can pick up 9s for days right now and fucking try to regrade them for 10s. And hey, it's PSA. You submit it a couple times, there is a really good shot that you're going to get a 10 on it eventually, because PSA just looks like a fucker. Yeah, it looks like a fucking 10 to me this time. Chick. There's people that do that constantly. You can make a whole little fucking side gig out of it. You could do a ton of stuff. You get ahead of the game. You could fucking make moves that people aren't making right this second. There's a ton of things for like casual mofos in here right this second to do. There's a lot of catch up to play. I'm not having a bad time. I've noticed a lot of people are. And that's fine. People are allowed to have their anger, their stuff. Me of all people, I understand that completely. There's plenty of things to be angry about here. But overall state of card collecting right this second, yeah, there's some big hot topic things right this second, but there's a lot of stuff no one's looking at. A ton of things nobody's even paying attention to. That's all I got. Appreciate it, Virgin Gang. See you later. Have a good one. Just look around. Just look around for some stuff. You might find some cool buried treasure on eBay or on TCG Player or any of the other places, or Instagram. Hey, Instagram's a good place to buy some cards, man. There's tons of claim sales. People are letting stuff go. I'm just saying.